Hello, everyone. On this week's episode, we're talking about contact unification with Outlook and Teams. We're also talking about some changes you need to implement to continue using Power Query in Excel. It's pretty important. A lot of people using that. And I've been waiting for this for a long time. We're going to be able to archive channels in Teams. Yes. So stay tuned to hear that and more on this week's episode.
But not much more.
Yeah, come on, Daryl. Let's not give all the secrets away.
No, we can't do that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 314. Yes, it's pie episode. I just realized that.
Huh? Oh yeah.
We should have been eating pie. What's your favorite pie?
Well, that
Daryl?
sounds good.
What's your favorite?
Oh, look, when you say pie, I think of we've got two kinds of pies here. We've got savory pies with mince and meats and all sorts of other stuff, and then we've got our wonderful fruit pies. Mm-hmm. I think I just when you said pie, I thought a really nice apple pie with fresh cream. Mm.
So apple pie with ice cream, with vanilla ice cream on top.
Oh, vanilla bean ice cream. Now
yes. But if you made me choose, I could only have one pie, a chocolate pie, like a fudge pie. Yum 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 yum. But I love me some apple. I love me some blueberry pie. Anyway, we probably should stop. Apple pie. Ooh, that sounds so good.
Well,
so pie episode. Yay, pie. And apparently you could go on to your favorite AI assistant and ask it, what is the last digit of pi? And it'll tell you. I've been seeing that this past week. People asking ChatGPT and all the other ones, hey, what's the last digit of pi? And it's like 4. Really? But anyway. We are going to not be talking about the last digit of pi, although my password is the last 12 digits of pi. So I guess I probably shouldn't have said that. Now everybody knows my password. So thank you everyone for being here. Make sure you are subscribed down below. And so
because there's a certain pie that shows the percentage of people that watch our videos and don't subscribe. How about that, Daniel? I worked pie in there.
You worked pie into it. I think let's just dive into it, Daryl, if that's okay, with our first message, which, as I said in the warm-up, or the, what do we call that at the very beginning of the episode, where like the teaser? What do we call that? Intro? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I talked about I've been wanting to have this for a very long time, and this is Microsoft Teams Archive Channels, MC696576. And the reason I say I've wanted it for a while is because you create channels, and then you're like, all right, I'm done with that channel. The channel has served its purpose. Now what do I do with it? Do you delete the channel? Well, you lose all the chats. Do you just tell everybody, hey, hide this? We're not going to use it anymore. What do you do with channel? And having this formal kind of procedure of, we're going to archive this. People could still get to it, see the chats, but it's not the, hey, we're actively using this. And it also I've seen organizations also rename a channel because they're like, oh, we're done with this channel, but let's reuse it. We'll rename it something else, and now it's got a different purpose. And you're like, wait a minute. This, causes some issues here when you do things like that. So being able to go and archive a channel, I think, is wonderful. Daryl, what do you think about this? Have you been wanting this? I have, but have you been, desiring this functionality?
Well, one of the common ways that we use channels in consulting, we'll have a team for a client, and then we might use a channel for each project. And there is a limit to how many channels you can have in a team. And I forget what it is. But I wonder, and this is a nice way of tidying that up, to keep projects still accessible if you want to go back and check out some of that content and the conversations. But you're really keeping that current work more visible, and the whole team doesn't have to be so unwieldy. But my question, I think, if I sort of dig deeper into this, is does an archived channel still count against the maximum number of channels?
I would say yes. The maximum is 1,000. So, I mean, if you're hitting 1,000 channels per team.
Is it 1,000 now? How
it is 1,000, but it includes deleted channels. So I'm assuming that it will include your archived one as well. But that's a lot of channels.
Yeah. True.
So
I always thought it was like 200 or something, but okay, I've not looked recently.
Right. I mean, it is a lot. So I think for me, I think it's enough. And archiving helps clean things up a little bit. Again, it's all about, in teams like tabs, only having tabs of the stuff that you're using right now, right? That it is all about the right now. What are you using right now? What are you focusing on as a team? And it just makes sense to be able to archive channels, in my opinion. So that's coming. Targeted release rolling out early January. So a New Year's bonus for us all. Well, for us on targeted release, and completed by late January, and then standard late January through late January. Wait, I did not read that. I did not read that wrong. It's going to start in late January and be completed by late January. So, instantaneous or something like that.
Well, no, it could be the last week of January or the last few days of January.
Right. Whatever you define it. Because, Microsoft has not defined these early and mid and late terms. So it's whatever you choose to define it. Daryl, let's talk about defining something else. Maybe, syncing emails and such to our mobiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is something we can do on our desktops, right? Where we can say, I want to pull down my whole mailbox or a year's worth or 3 months. And that actually becomes quite an important mechanism when we're on shared hardware, like a shared server. Or if we're just trying to manage our space carefully. But this is something coming to iOS and Android devices. That Outlook, you'll be able to choose how many days of email to sync to your iOS and Android devices for offline usage. So this is MC 696167. So this I mean we can synchronize messages to our apps. I forget, is there actually a limit to it now? I don't think there is. But what I've always found is I can just go there and scroll on through, but I'm not often offline. The critical thing here is that it is about offline storage, and so if you do need to get into your phone and maybe you're on a flight or something where you've been told to, well, you should be, put it into flight mode, and you want to just reply to a few messages or check things out. Or look, there are still definitely people. We can work in places where bandwidth is not great, that mobile data is not available, and yet we still might need to reference things that are in our inbox to get things done, to make decisions, to do stuff. So this is a good message, Daniel, where there are some pictures, and we've been talking recently over the last few episodes that it's like there's been quite a few messages that don't actually have an illustration, so it's hard to imagine what this would be like as we prepare people.
Yeah, we have imaginations, and we have to use them too frequently.
Yeah.
So Microsoft people,
thinking of a new segment, aren't we?
we might get in trouble for it. But Microsoft people, if you're listening, we know you are listening. If you are responsible for these messages for your products, please, for the love of all things techie, include screenshots, even if they're just mock-ups. Please, it'll. If this is all about education, well, no. If this is all about helping us implement these changes for our organizations, then we got to be able to describe it and talk about it in the terms of a screenshot, or at least some sort of hand drawing on a napkin. Do something, please. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, last week's plan didn't quite work, did it? Because the whole focus thing. Yeah. My wife hassled me about that.
Oh,
so, with this, you can go into your sync settings and you can set how many days to synchronize. Mm-hmm. It's good to see it across both platforms. It looks quite similar across the two, whether you're iOS or Android. So that is going to be available in preview, rolling out late December and completed mid-January, and standard release rolling out mid-January and complete mid-February. And moving on to this one that's going to be kind of impactful for people using Power Query, Daniel.
Yes, action required, and we don't often see this action required tag. And it usually, I mean, it is big. Like we saw it, I think one of those was Exchange. They were making a lot of changes around being able to sync with the old clients and everything. Action required. Changes to get and transform data, aka Power Query, features in Excel, MC696575. So Power Query is the ability built into as part of Excel, being able to get and transform data. And for those of you using Power BI, this is where Power BI kind of came from, was all of these capabilities in Excel and growing up into Power BI. So a lot of people use this. A lot of people use Power Query. Microsoft Excel is the #1 data analytics tool in the world for a very long time, because it is power to the people, right? You don't have to have a server to run this on. You could just use it in the software that you have. So I thought this was interesting. Note, if you don't use Power Query, I just stopped there and I went, wait, that's everybody. So what do you mean if you don't use it? Everybody uses it, right? Okay, not everybody, but it is pretty important. And so the reason why we're covering it is we want to make sure you understand March 11th, they're going to make a change. It's going to require for an install to be done on your machine to use this, the Microsoft Edge WebView 2. So there's some information about that, and so on the admin side, pushing this to your users, having it installed, is going to be the best way to do this, because they're going to modernize this, get and transform, and it's going to require this. And if you don't have it, it's going to stop working. So we have until March 10th, because March 11th is when they're going to make the change. So go ahead and install the library now, and your users won't see any impact, all right, when this changes. Also, they are going to they're going to be changing, and we saw this across a lot of our services and apps, switching from the less secure TLS 1.1 to a higher grade security. So basically you're saying if you're using that TLS 1.1 or lower to connect, that's the get part, to connect to data, to pull it into Excel, you're going to need to update that connection. So again, this is educating your users that are using this, power users, or those that are working with data, making sure that they're using the most updated connection type. Okay, so there's some instructions there on how to not only get that update for and get the WebView 2 installed, but also how to check your sources in the message. So make sure you check that out. And if your admins are not paying attention to our show, I'm sorry. Go ahead and share this episode out with them and say you should watch this show every week. But also help them understand that this change is going to affect you. So you have, 4 months or 3.5 months now. So let's get on it. Don't forget about this. Go ahead and do it now. Right, Daryl? That's what we tell people. Do it now while you're thinking about it.
Go ahead and do it now. Yes, while you're thinking about it.
You know what you could do?
If you can't do it, tell someone else to do it.
Yeah, what you could do is just, create a task in a bucket in Planner and have that and assign it to your admin is what you could do, and then, then your admin can look at it. If you have the power to
do so, if your admin has been foolish enough to give you a plan that allows you to assign tasks to them.
Do it, people. And then could they look at it on their mobile, Daryl? If in Planner, could they easily get to?
Oh, I'm sure they could. If not, they'll get a notification for it in their email. And I'll go, what the? Okay, enough of that. But yeah, and this update's quite handy for those of us who do use Planner. This is it's an unusual kind of title though, so that's why it does deserve a bit of explaining. Tasks in my area or department. Got it. A mobile planner in Teams feature. Interesting name for a feature. MC695495. This relates to tasks by Planner in the Teams mobile app. We know that there's still a Planner mobile app floating around out there. Not sure what's going to happen with it. But the modern way of accessing Planner, especially on the mobile, is via the Teams app. And today, if I have a plan and the plan has multiple buckets. Buckets, remember, are the way that we keep tasks together focused on a certain work stream. Some apps call them swim lanes. And that gives us focus. I think this is what the message is referring to when it talks about tasks in my area or department. So if you are using buckets in that way to group tasks for your area into a bucket or department into a bucket.
But see, it's people bucket, another time. bucket. See, people do this differently, and it's not just how you do it. It's also how you do it for a particular project, because sometimes it's about a group of people who are going to manage this bucket or these tasks in this bucket, but it could also be stage of work. Could be the bucket, right? So meaning, research and then taking action could be another bucket. And then, so you could use buckets in different ways. But so that's what kind of threw me with this title. But thank you for explaining that, Daryl.
No, that's cool. And like we use the buckets for phases of a project sometimes. But the same advantage, we haven't got to the advantage yet. Can be experienced for that purpose, right? So what is this? This is allowing you to focus on a bucket or buckets on your mobile, filtering out the other buckets. So if you wanted to just look at the tasks in one bucket and just focus your attention on that and work your way through that from your mobile, that's what this is about. So imagine the scenario of you are at a certain phase in your project and you want to focus on just the tasks that are sitting for you, waiting to contribute to. Great. If you're using a bucket to represent your area or department, then you can focus on that too. And yeah, it's a good feature to have. Anything that kind of makes it easier to manage the tasks from your mobile experience. It's another good message that does have screenshots to show us what to expect. And yeah, it's a tidy little screenshot. Not too much more to add to that, just to say that it will be rolling out early December. So if I fired up my phone right now, maybe it will be there. But I won't make you wait to find out. Task by Planner. Maybe I will actually.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know. It's just how rude of me. Oh, but I do have a new view. I can't show you this though.
I can.
Anyway,
Why
would I do that? Why would I say that?
I looked at mine and I can filter, but it doesn't look like these screenshots. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
They're like not at the top. So I'm not entirely sure if like mine is I don't know, can it? Oh, there, you can see it. Look at there, people. You see how it says filters up here? It's not the same. So I think maybe it's not rolled out to me yet.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
No, I don't have it yet either. I've just got those collapsible buckets and the tasks underneath it. Yeah. So the point of this update is to not have tons of buckets and collapsible things that you got to tap, collapse.
Right. You'll be able to filter it.
Show me the bucket.
There. Show me the money. Oh, the bucket.
Show me the bucket. So show me the last message, Daniel. I'll just leave you to describe it. I can't think of anything.
Contact unification across Outlook and Teams. MC695487. This is solving the issue where previously, now I guess we could say, not just previously, but now also, when you create a contact in Outlook, those contacts can be seen in Teams. Cool. But the reverse is not true. So, managing contacts in Teams not being available in Outlook is kind of bad, because bad form, not being able to really manage it that way. This update is going to sync those both ways. So no matter if you're in Teams or Outlook, you're going to see all your contacts. Don't be confused about intra ID and then parentheses AAD, which is very interesting that they're putting Azure Active Directory in there, except that's not a thing anymore. But maybe they're helping us catch up, right? It's intra ID. Don't be confused by that. That just means your work accounts, so that's what that means. So contacts, will be synced back and forth. Would like to describe what this will look like. I think but it's going to be a back end kind of thing. So I'm not necessarily thinking that this needs screenshots, because it's kind of a back end thing, but, and this is rolling out, mid-December. So soonish.
In a few days.
Yeah. And completed by late January. I think, this makes sense. This is one of those things that, there are some things that bug me about Teams, and this is one of them, that, contexts don't work exactly right. Calendaring is another thing that kind of bugs me, but this being fixed, I think is a great thing. What do you think, Daryl? Do you think this is great?
Look, the contacts in Teams are quite limited. So like if I was using the call app, for example, and I wanted to pop in a brand new number, and I thought at the time, hey, why don't I save the name to go with that? And that forms a Teams-based contact. That's what's not passing back to Outlook. Exactly. So I think when it does, expect it to hopefully still be in a contacts card that we might recognize. I wonder if in allowing that synchronization in that direction, that if you put more detail into that card into that contact that was created in Teams, that you're able to add to it, or is it just hey, I'm going to make this thing available to you over here in Outlook and it's read only? The useful
I hope
part
not.
is
yeah,
I know. The useful part is actually the other direction, where if wherever you've taken the time to put in a phone number and you're able to dial it with Teams, that's why the task synchronization is helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it's not read only, and we have no indication that that's the way it's going to be. So yeah, coming very, very soon. And that's this week's episode, people. I hope that it's a little shorter than we've done previously. I hope you're not mad at us for that. And if you are, you can write Daryl at he cares so much for you. So please write him an email.com and he will get back to you shortly ish. That was a really
It'll
long
be an automated reply. You'll be issued a ticket number. You'll probably be ticket number 2 because Daniel was the first one to test the system. He's still waiting.
Still waiting. No, thank you so much, everybody. Please make sure you give a thumbs up to this episode. We greatly appreciate that. We also greatly appreciate you sharing this episode out to all of your colleagues. Go ahead and throw it in Teams. Put it in your all company Teams general channel. Say, hey, everybody, you need to watch this show. Please subscribe to it so that we're all on the same page. That would be fantastic. We greatly appreciate that. And hit us up on all the socials that matter at 365 MCS.
That's right. The show. 315 next week, everyone. Oh, have we even thought about whether we take a break over the short holidays or,
Have we thought about it? Sure. Have we come to a conclusion or come to an agreement? No.
Nothing to share right today.
Nothing definitive.
I often want... Yeah, we have nothing to share at this time.
Please stay tuned. We'll probably
feedback.
Share something next week. Yeah, that's great feedback, Daryl. I'll put that on the parking lot.
We should take a holiday. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.